When it comes to pyramids, the first image that likely comes to mind is the majestic structures standing in the vast sandy deserts of Egypt. It is home to humanity's greatest pyramids, standing eternal against the silent flow of time. But what we are about to share will absolutely astound you. This is the image we saw on Google Earth. Could they be pyramids? Ancient Chinese civilization also possessed its own mysterious pyramids. And the profound yet equally magnificent secrets are still hidden deep within the strange pyramids of China. Why is it that monumental structures, which could never possibly be hidden from human sight, ultimately end up buried by the dust of time? Is there any connection between the pyramids in China and the distant pyramids of Egypt? The history of the mysterious pyramids in China will be revealed in today's video. China's pyramids, the unexplained mysteries. Before delving into the pyramids discovered in Xi'an and Liaoning, which bear many mysterious characters, don't forget to hit the like button for the video. Your support is an incredibly valuable source of motivation for the CD team Vu Trung Nguyen Tui. Now, let's embark on this journey together. This is the ancient mausoleum of Xi'an, a renowned archaeological sanctuary of China. Unlike the crowds typically characteristic of a billion-person nation, this was a deserted road. Researchers, along with their drones, have begun their work. The highway is being used as a runway for modern flying vehicles. In the next 45 minutes, never before seen, precious footage will be revealed to the experts for the very first time. In the agricultural area of Xi'an, there are numerous earthen mounds and hills that appear utterly ordinary at first glance. From above, they appear as magnificent wonders of the world. This has truly exceeded all our expectations. Within these structures lie secrets that no one could ever know. That could be the burial site of ancient generals, monarchs, or lords and their wives. They were beings of immense power, existing thousands of years before our time. In the flow of history, the region known today as Taiwan was not originally a peaceful countryside with lush fields. The river incinerates dynasties, it is the birthplace of uprisings and the very cause of their collapse. All of that turned Xi'an into a sea of blood. The pyramids, the great structures of a glorious era, have carved a unique mark in the flow of history. Though time may pass, those imprints will remain forever. They are symbols of power and wealth. The person standing at the top of the pyramid appears to be the one who holds supreme power. The distinctive feature of China's pyramid compared to similar structures in Egypt is they are cared for with excessive meticulousness and thoroughness. They are covered by artificial mountains. According to the archaeologist, amidst the dense, lush forests of Xi'an, for thousands of years, dozens of pyramid-shaped hills have been shrouded in mystery. According to blogger Shishu Zazu, the Chinese pyramid first appeared in the Hongshan culture. The Hongsun culture originated in the Nuha Luang area, located in the western part of Liaoning and Zaifeng provinces. Located in China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, approximately 5,000 to 6,000 years ago marks the dawn of ancient Chinese civilization during the Neolithic period. Niuhiliang in Liaoning is the pivotal center of Hongshan culture. Here, there is a bare earthen hill that looks exactly like a natural mountain. However, after conducting excavations, the archaeologists discovered that this was actually a man-made structure. This structure is conical in shape, with a diameter of nearly 40 meters and a height of 16 meters. And there is a conical ring, with a diameter of nearly 40 meters and a height of 16 meters. The rock formation is surrounded by more than 30 similarly shaped boulders. That is the pyramid located in the western part of Liaoning province, China. According to blogger Shishu Adu, besides the Hongshan culture in the western part of Liaoning province, in China, there is also a place where ancient people once built pyramids. That is the Wuling Plateau area in Xi'an City, Shaanxi province. The exact location of Wulingyuan is north of Shenyang City in Shaanxi province. This land is called Wuling Plain because it holds the tombs of 5 emperors from the Western Han dynasty. After that, the number of Western Han tombs on Wuling Plateau increased to 9. As we all know, the Egyptian pyramids are essentially the tombs of the pharaohs. Gold. So what did the imperial tombs of the Western Han dynasty at Wuling Plateau actually look like? What a coincidence, these tombs are all grand, majestic, and imposing. From a distance, it resembles a giant, Kim, character, and could be likened to the Egyptian pyramids. This should be called the Chinese pyramid complex. According to blogger Shishuan, the pyramids of Egypt are an iconic structure. According to blogger Shishuan Yu's perspective, the pyramid in Xi'an, Shaanxi province is not a tomb belonging to the Western Han Dynasty mausoleum complex at Wulingyuan. Rather, it is the Dui Gonyi Pyramid, constructed on the Tanlin mountain range, 100 kilometers south of Xi'an city. In fact, there are over 100 pyramids of varying scales and sizes. And on the pyramids, one can also find inscriptions in Turkish. Therefore, experts are quite certain that the Turks were the ones who built these pyramids. References to the Xi'an pyramids have appeared sporadically since as early as the 17th century. However, at that time, they still hadn't truly garnered much attention. Because at that time, science and technology were still in their infancy. These pyramids were first officially discovered by an American merchant named Fred Mayer Strouder. He meticulously recorded every detailed description in his journal. He claimed to have seen a giant pyramid with an estimated height of over 300 meters with his own eyes, and surrounded by smaller pyramids. According to Strouder, during his survey of the pyramids, he noticed that none of them had an entrance. These pyramids were constructed from millions of uniformly sized stone blocks, each one being a cube with an estimated edge length of over 90 centimeters. The second day's sighting of these pyramids was confirmed by James Gowmans, an American pilot. That was in 1945, when Gowmans was assigned to pilot a C-47 transport aircraft. The conversion of the U.S. military base in India into a supply center is continuing. On the flight back to base, his aircraft's engine unexpectedly malfunctioned. Gowmans was forced to reduce altitude, and while flying along the mountainside, Gowmans suddenly saw a vast, flat expanse of ice waiting for him. Then, pyramids that appeared even larger than the Egyptian pyramids emerged one after another. Gowmans was overwhelmed by the sight. He circled back to get a clearer view of the pyramids. What appeared before Gowmans' eyes would likely overturn the entire history of humankind. 2 years later, Mr. Mao Rai Xian, the Far East Regional General Manager of the Trans World Alliance, resigned. I also had the opportunity to fly over the pyramid area as directed by Gowmans. This time, thanks to prior preparation, Nine Shang managed to capture several photographs. These images were subsequently published in the March 28, 1947 issue of the New York Times. However, in ancient China, there very likely existed a painting of our species. However, Chinese scholars have denied the existence of the pyramids in Xi'an, even if they present evidence such as the photos that Taiyuan has published. Some people acknowledge the existence of these structures, but they asserted that it was not a pyramid, but rather truncated pyramid-shaped tombs, trapezoidal in form. It wasn't until 10 years later that a German explorer named Heinrich Hartwig Hausdorff. Together with my colleagues, we are determined to uncover the truth. They came to Hamzung, the ancient fortress located about 40 miles from Xi'an. In this area, the research team observed at least 16 pyramids. 1922 Uncovering of Tutankhamun. The research team was utterly astonished to discover numerous bushes growing on the sides of the pyramid. They believe that the local authorities are deliberately concealing these pyramids by making them blend in with the surrounding natural environment. Some people even claim to have heard the weary groans of thousands of slaves during the construction of the monument's foundation. In the past, before technological devices emerged, the more massive the structures, the more hardship they imposed on people. Countless mysteries still lie buried deep beneath the earth where these pyramids stand. But one thing is certain: their construction process overcame countless immense challenges. The builders of the foundation are themselves unable to build a foundation. The nation's founders endured immense challenges. The pyramid builders had to use manual tools like hoes and carts to dig holes dozens of meters deep, moving millions of tons of earth and rock. Who built these pyramids? And how did they accomplish such a monumental feat? The age of the largest pyramid discovered in China has been determined to be around 246 BC. That was a dark historical period for a nation that is now one of the world's leading developed powers. The Warring States period is considered the most violent and oppressive era in Chinese history, marked by incessant and bloody military conflicts among the 7 major states. During the Warring States period, the 7 major states, Qi, Shu, Yan, Han, Zhao, Wei, and Qin, were constantly at war with one another. The armies of these nations were all fully equipped with increasingly sophisticated bronze and iron weapons to attack one another. Across the country, large armies were formed by implementing a mandatory conscription system, applied to most males upon reaching adulthood. While the largest nations even possessed armies of nearly 1 million people, they also maintained powerful cavalry forces with troop numbers reaching up to 10,000. During this period, more than 300 separate wars occurred between individual nations or among alliances of nations. The nation's mighty armies and cavalry are seen as ruthless killing machines, tempered by countless battlefield experiences. There is still no accurate statistic on the number of fatalities, nor is there information about this country's organizational efforts. During the Warring States period, warfare and conflict claimed the lives of a great many people. According to historians' estimates, this number could even reach into the millions. The relentless slaughter during the Warring States period turned ancient China into a vast graveyard. Nowadays, it is no longer surprising for archaeologists to discover ancient tombs from the Warring States period filled with valuable burial artifacts underground. It was the consequence of the bloody and horrific wars during that chaotic, dark period. Therefore, the massive cemetery from the Warring States period, recently discovered and excavated by China, can tell many stories and reveal secrets from one of the darkest periods in ancient Chinese history. Experience a completely new men's haircut service that washes away all post-work fatigue. With 30 locations nationwide, we are proud to introduce our 10-step wash and cut package at a flat rate of only $120K, available all week. Enjoy a premium service with top-tier technology. Notably, the 10-step wash and cut package is offered at a flat rate of $120K. The pyramid mentioned here is actually the mausoleum of the first emperor to unify China, Qin Shi Huang. After unifying the realm and consolidating his power, Qin Shi Huang mobilized the entire nation's resources to construct for himself a mausoleum of unparalleled grandeur in the world. The mausoleum of the first Qin emperor is located at the northern foot of Mount Li, in Lintong District, Xi'an City, Shaanxi Province, China. The success of building a tomb depends largely on the selection of its location. In ancient China, selecting elevated terrain was an extremely important factor in the tomb construction process. Perhaps even the construction workers at the time could not have imagined that they themselves were the creators of one of humanity's greatest historical structures. When it comes to this most mysterious tomb, most of us are captivated by the immense and glittering treasure hidden deep within it. But beyond the treasure, the unique pyramid architecture of the tomb itself will undoubtedly leave you in awe. The mausoleum of the first Qin emperor is considered the supreme imperial tomb, possessing an extremely peculiar structure with a shape closely resembling a pyramid. According to Chinese experts' assessments, although the construction time of the Qin Shi Huang mausoleum was shorter than that of the Egyptian pyramids, it is in no way inferior in terms of technical sophistication. However, unlike the 3-tiered stepped structure commonly seen in other pyramids, the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang has 9 tiers. Its scale is considered to be even larger than that of the Khufu pyramid of Egyptian civilization. What is more noteworthy is that this 9-tiered structure coincidentally aligns with the 9-story demon towers of ancient Chinese lore, where each level is said to house a specific malevolent spirit or supernatural entity. Since the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang has yet to be fully excavated to this day, there have been numerous eerie rumors and widespread fury surrounding it. It is no coincidence that the legend of the 9-story demonic tower here remains one of the most widely discussed topics by later generations. In 1977, Chinese archaeologists excavated an ancient tomb. Its date was determined to be even earlier than the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. The distinctive feature is that this tomb has a completely different structure compared to other tombs from the same period that have been excavated before. Currently, tombs in China often feature a simple vertical shaft structure, yet they are designed to resemble miniature pyramids. The mausoleum of the first Qin emperor is essentially in the form of a truncated pyramid, but these tombs themselves are shaped like miniature pyramids. The mausoleum of the first Qin emperor is essentially a magnificent underground palace, constructed in the form of a lavish and grandiose pyramid. The mausoleum of the first Qin emperor is shaped like a rectangular pyramid, with specific dimensions of 350 meters from north to south, 345 meters from east to west, and a height of 76 meters. To build a magnificent final resting place dedicated to the first emperor of China, this mausoleum project mobilized over 700,000 laborers and took 38 years to complete. The mausoleum is divided into two sections, a rectangular front part and a square rear part. To the south of the mausoleum is the burial area, where the tomb is built in the shape of a quadrilateral pyramid. The tomb was buried very deep, containing 2 layers of coffins, with a great many treasures placed between the layers and within the innermost coffin. The mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, when viewed from above, reveals a 3-tiered structure built above the outer hall. The middle floor is the main sanctuary, while the remaining section is the rear palace where the coffin is placed. The mausoleum was constructed in the architectural style of the Hamyang fortress. According to archaeological survey results, the actual length of the underground palace beneath the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang is 260 meters, stretching from east to west. And it measures 160 meters from north to south, with a total floor area of up to 41,600 square meters. The underground palace of Qin Shi Huang is the largest-scale subterranean palace complex among the Qin and Han dynasties. For ease of comparison, let's analyze and contrast these two issues. The scale of this tomb is equivalent to 5 international football fields. According to the latest data, this underground palace is not nearly as deep as people often imagine. Its actual depth is nearly equivalent to that of the tomb at the No. 1 Qin Grand Mausoleum in Ziyang. If calculated this way, the actual depth from the entrance to the bottom of the underground palace is approximately 26 meters. And the greatest depth on the surface during the Qin dynasty was approximately 37 meters. Qin Shi Huang was an emperor perpetually obsessed with the pursuit of immortality. And many speculate that it may have been the very pursuit of immortality that killed him. The ancients believed that when a person passed away, their soul continued to exist within the tomb. Therefore, it is understandable that the first emperor of a unified China wished to construct a final resting place for himself of such grand scale and magnificence. If the great pyramids of ancient Egypt were built with granite, however, the pyramid in China was built from an extremely familiar material, earth. According to many engineers, structures built with earth can last for hundreds, even thousands of years. Perhaps any one of us could live for hundreds, or even thousands, of years. Perhaps every one of us has heard of the magnificent Great Wall of China, a wonder constructed by the ancient Chinese. You would probably be even more surprised to learn that the oldest parts of this citadel were actually built from earth. This papyrus has existed for over 2,500 years. Just add a little more binder to prevent the soil from breaking apart in water. Humanity has been capable of creating magnificent works, leaving profound imprints across time. However, these adhesive materials still do not seem to fully meet the requirements. We need to compact all the material together with the soil into a mold. Make sure there are no gaps for air to get in. As not just the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor, numerous other ancient tombs in Xi. That means there is not just a single pyramid, but rather a series of pyramids built from earth. The most compelling evidence is the over 2,000-year-old fortress walls that still stand imposingly, remarkably solid and robust. Amidst the many upheavals of history, the artifacts unearthed by archaeologists remain intact. Researchers believe they may be arranged in the shape of a certain constellation in the sky. When technology was still an unfamiliar concept, everything had to be done by hand. That is, if we want to build truly solid walls or earthen foundations, we need hundreds of people to thoroughly trample the ground so that over time, it becomes firm and sturdy. To erect magnificent monuments, symbols of the dynasty's power and the opulence of emperors, one must pay a price that is nothing other than human suffering. Blood and tears of the people. This is one of the most magnificent ancient tombs discovered in Shaanxi province in the 21st century. According to Xinhua news agency, the Grand Mausoleum located in the eastern suburbs of Xi'an City has been identified as the tomb of Emperor Wen of Han, Lu Heng. The emperor of the Western Han dynasty, which was established from 202 BC to 25 AD. 4 access ramps leading into the mausoleum were constructed underground at depths ranging from 2 to 4.5 meters. The tomb is 74.5 meters long and 71.5 meters wide, with its foundation resting at a depth of 27 to 30 meters below ground level. Although it shares a similar pyramid structure, it is likely just a miniature replica when compared to the colossal pyramids we typically envision. And the tomb of this emperor seems insignificant when compared to the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. Whether large or small, those pyramid-shaped tombs were filled with incredibly precious, glittering treasures. That is what evokes the deepest compassion within every person. In modern times, those press archives have become more valuable than ever. Some people acknowledge the existence of these structures, but they argue that they are not pyramids, merely pyramid-shaped tombs. One hypothesis suggests that the pyramids discovered in Liaoning were actually an altar for worshipping heaven. However, there is also a hypothesis that this structure was actually a copper smelting furnace, as numerous traces of metal melting pots used at high temperatures have been discovered on the mountain summit. Approximately 1,500 metal cooking pots were discovered inside a pyramid in China's western Liaoning province. Each metallurgical crucible has a height of approximately 33 centimeters and a mouth diameter of about 30 centimeters, making its size nearly equivalent to a common bucket we use today. Dung Coi Thuong Ki Thuat Duc Dong, Boi Du Chin La Mo Kong Nagi Sao Vao Thoi Bei Gio Vala Biu Tuong Quan Trong Dan Do Su Fat Trian Kua Mo Nen Van Min. However, it is strange that both the authorities and archaeologists in China deny the existence of the pyramids in Xi'an, despite the evidence presented in photographs published by pilots and many other scientists around the world. Even the local authorities deliberately concealed the prohibition signs by covering them with soil and planting trees on top, aiming to prevent tourists and locals from accessing this area. This concealment was clearly intentional. Experts assert that these pyramids are not only unique architectural structures but also hold many secrets about ancient Chinese history and culture. Could the truth about these pyramids completely rewrite human history? Is the Chinese government attempting to cover something up? Perhaps the Chinese government currently lacks the technological capability to excavate these pyramid-shaped tombs while still preserving their internal structures intact. The pyramids have endured for thousands of years of history. Even a single minor misstep could cause those ancient structures to collapse. At that point, all of their historical value would be permanently irrecoverable. According to archaeologists' calculations and estimates, given our current level of scientific and technological advancement, modern humans would still require hundreds of years to excavate a large-scale structure like the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. This timeframe is only an estimate, as the excavation process cannot rule out the possibility of unforeseen circumstances that could prolong and complicate the work. Archaeologists also warn that even if the excavation is successful, China would struggle to ensure the artifacts from the tomb remain intact once brought above ground. The most compelling evidence is the terracotta army in the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. The terracotta statues originally wore armor and battle robes painted purple, but after being excavated and exposed above ground for a period of time, they had turned completely brown due to oxidation from exposure to the outside air. After nearly 2,200 years, the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor remains almost entirely intact. According to historical records, the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, the most enigmatic tomb in human history, was constructed above a highly toxic river of mercury. In the 1980s, Chinese and German researchers used magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, technology and discovered that the soil on the hilltop above the tomb has a significantly higher mercury content than the surrounding areas. According to estimates, the mercury concentration inside the tomb is 280 times higher than the permissible level. The amount of mercury inside could be up to 100 tons. Moreover, the tomb serves as the final resting place for the emperors, along with their mandarins and concubines. Perhaps, Confucian culture has become deeply and firmly ingrained in the consciousness of every Chinese citizen. Simply put, the Chinese government is respecting and preserving its nation's cultural values. Perhaps the Chinese did not wish to excessively disturb the resting places of the emperors. They wanted to liberate the souls of the deceased, so they hid them beneath the dense green canopies of the trees. Both are magnificent structures, surpassing the ordinary limits of human understanding. What is the connection between the Egyptian pyramids and the Chinese pyramids? According to blogger Shishu Azu, both ICAP and China are ancient civilizations. The ancient ICAP civilization is symbolized by its pyramids. Famous for its pyramids and mummies, ancient Chinese civilization was renowned for its exquisite products such as jade, silk, and porcelain. ICAP was founded in 3500 BC. Ancient Chinese civilization was formed in 2070 BC. It is evident that the ancient ICAP civilization emerged earlier than ancient Chinese civilization. The pyramid seems to hold many mysteries within and possesses a far greater renown compared to jade, silk, and porcelain. Many people probably don't know that the pyramids in China were actually built earlier than the pyramids in Egypt. The construction methods of these pyramids share many similarities with the pyramids in Teotihuacan, Mexico, with a tiered structure and stone-paved steps arranged on both sides. The top of the tower is designed with a flat surface, a typical feature of the Japanese-style architecture of the Maya. Moreover, the pyramid here was built a full 100 years earlier than the ICAP pyramid. In terms of height, the largest structure even reaches 500 meters, far surpassing the height of the Egyptian pyramids. However, archaeological work in this area has not yet been able to reach a definitive conclusion. Many questions remain unanswered, so this mystery cannot yet be unraveled. The largest and most famous pyramid in Egypt is the Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu. And on history discussion forums, the pyramids in China are far less known compared to the Egyptian pyramids. Farouk Khufu was the second pharaoh of the 4th dynasty in ancient Egypt. Farouk Khufu lived between 2598 BC and 2566 BC. And the giant pyramid he built has a history of over 4,700 years. The Giza Pyramid, the largest structure in Egypt, was built from 2.3 million stone blocks. Each rock has an average mass of up to 2.5 tons. However, in Farouk Khufu's era, there were no cutting machines to process the massive stones. In that era, not only were there no cutting machines, but even iron tools had not yet appeared. Look at these stone blocks, skillfully cut and fitted by the ICAP people, with surfaces so perfectly smooth. The rocks on top and below can all be easily stacked on top of each other. And between the crevices of the rocks, even the thinnest blade could not slip through. That's absolutely unbelievable. Knowledge of physics, mathematics, and astronomy applied during the construction process was all remarkably advanced for its time. The sides of the ICAP pyramid are triangular, and the entire pyramid has the shape of a triangular pyramid. With a triangular structure, the weight is concentrated at the base and decreases progressively toward the top. This structure not only ensures robustness but also helps alleviate the pressure exerted on the passageways and internal spaces of the pyramid. Moreover, the precise value of pi is also hidden within the architecture of the Giza pyramid, as demonstrated by the ratio between its base perimeter and twice its height, which yields a result of 3.14159. The inner halls of the Giza pyramid are also triangular in shape, with the three sides of the triangular hall measuring 3, 4, and 5 respectively. This is a special case of the Pythagorean theorem. In addition, the Giza pyramid also boasts an extremely unique location, situated precisely at the coordinates 29 degrees, 58 minutes, and 51 seconds north latitude. This location makes it less affected by the Earth's rotational movement. This is also one of the reasons it has remained standing firm for over 4,700 years. In summary, according to blogger Shizuazu's assessment, the construction technology of the ancient Egyptian pyramids reached an incredibly high, even Nanyiji Shin level of sophistication. The construction of the pyramids in ancient Egypt was a monumental feat, which has made their fame endure and spread far and wide. On the other hand, the pyramids at Luling, Shaanxi, and Liaoning in China have a much simpler architectural design. They are all made from a mixture of soil and rock, requiring no complex techniques. Although the pyramid kilns of the Han Sun culture were used for copper smelting, they were considered a highly advanced technology for that period. But it remains very common and cannot compare to the masterful, sophisticated, and highly refined technical skill of the ancient Akkad pyramids. Therefore, it can be affirmed that the pyramids are one of the mysteries that contribute to embellishing the already magnificent Chinese civilization, making it even more fascinating and captivating. The mystery of the pyramids, particularly the Great White Pyramid described by Gaussmann, more colossal than even the Great Pyramid of Giza, does it truly exist? Perhaps we still need a great deal more time to find the answer to this question. However, this mystery may soon be solved if the Chinese government discloses the findings from inside these enigmatic pyramids. To this day, the pyramids in China remain an enigma.